Dwight Clark, the charismatic 49ers receiver whose fingertips launched an NFL dynasty, died Monday at age 61. Now and forever for the catch, Clark waged a public battle against amyotrophic lateral sclerosis over the final 14 months of his life. Clark's wife, Kelly, announced the news via Twitter. "I'm heartbroken to tell you that today I lost my best friend and husband," she wrote. He passed peacefully, surrounded by many of the people he loved most. I am thankful for all of Dwight's friends, teammates, and 49ers fans who have sent their love during his battle with ALS. Click here if you are having trouble viewing photos of Dwight Clark on your mobile device. Former 49ers owner Eddie DeBartolo led the chorus of mourners. "Today, I lost my little brother and one of my best friends," DeBartolo said in a statement. "I cannot put into words how special Dwight was to me and to everyone his life touched. He was an amazing husband, father, grandfather, brother and a great friend and teammate. He showed tremendous courage and dignity in his battle with ALS, and we hope there will soon be a cure for this horrendous disease. I will always remember Dwight the way he was, larger than life, handsome, charismatic, and the only one who could pull off wearing a fur coat at our Super Bowl parade." Fans, former teammates, Hall of Famers and others from the world of pro football took to Twitter to express their feelings. Joe Montana, the man who threw the pass that resulted in the catch. "Dwight was a vibrant, charismatic soul. Jennifer and I are heartbroken over his passing. While we knew it was inevitably coming, it came way too soon. We are grateful for the decades of love and friendship we shared. We are praying for Dwight, his family, and for all your prayers also. We will miss you dearly. Love, Jennifer and Joe Montana." Jerry Rice, "Love you bro Dwight Clark rip. Really saddened by the loss of Dwight Clark," current 49ers tackle Joe Staley wrote. "He was so much more than a football player. He was so kind and happy. Such a pure human spirit. About 6,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with ALS every year, and an estimated 20,000 are living with the fatal disease at any given time, according to the ALS Association. That it struck down Clark is testament to its insidiousness for, as DeBartolo said, Clark was larger than life. He also was handsome, charismatic, and many other golden adjectives. This was genuinely true for all of Clark's adult life and even for a while after his diagnosis in March 2017. He revealed his ALS diagnosis in an open letter to fans. He said then that he was still trying to wrap my head around the challenge I will face. He began feeling symptoms in 2015, problems he initially dismissed as remnants of his playing days. Get 49ers news in your inbox. Sign up now for the free 49ers HQ newsletter. Clark continued to make public appearances after his announcement, events suddenly tinged with both love and sadness. Most notably, he appeared at halftime of the 49ers game against the Dallas Cowboys on October 22, 2017. With Montana and other members of the 81 team on the field for a Dwight Clark Day ceremony, he addressed the crowd with a speech from a suite at Levi's Stadium. "I think you all know I'm going through a little thing right now," he told the crowd in a halting voice. "And I need your prayers and thoughts. I appreciate those that you've been giving me." At that time, Clark had lost about 60 pounds from his listed weight of 212 pounds from his playing days. Not long after, he was inducted into the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame. Clark handled his illness with a dignity and grace, but it was a tough ending for those who remembered the high-flying symbol of the 49ers' heyday, former executive Carmen Policy, under whom Clark served as general manager of the 49ers, 1998, and the Cleveland Browns, 1998 to 2002. Not fair, Policy said recently. Born in Kingston, North Carolina, on January 8, 1957, Dwight Edward Clark's early athletic career hardly hinted at immortality. He was a quarterback at Garinger High in North Carolina, operating an offense that relied more heavily on the running game. He really wanted to play basketball at Clemson University, but he wasn't quick enough to be a guard and, at 6'4", wasn't tall enough to be a forward. Clark chose football instead, and the future offensive star played strong safety early in his Clemson career. Even after he switched to receiver, Clark caught only 33 passes over 2+ seasons. As he told sports writer Mike Lupica in 1985, "If my future in football had been decided by what I did in college, I'd be working at Wendy's right now." Instead, the phone rang at his campus apartment one day as the 1979 NFL Draft approached. Clark considered not answering, having just slung his clubs over his shoulder for a round of golf. But he turned around, picked up the phone, and heard Walsh on the other end of the line. The recently hired 49ers coach explained that he was in town for a pre-draft workout with Clark's roommate, quarterback Steve Fuller. "I need a receiver to run some routes," Walsh said to Clark. Clark put down his golf clubs and headed out to the football field. He caught everything in sight, including Walsh's eye. As former 49ers offensive lineman Randy Cross said, "Only one guy impressed Bill that day, and it wasn't Steve Fuller." Walsh was so intrigued that he tracked down some Clemson game film to learn more about what Clark brought to the table. That was tricky, as Clark caught only 11 passes during the 1978 season. "Are there any games where you caught 2 passes?" Walsh finally asked him. In the 1979 draft, the Kansas City Chiefs took Fuller in the first round. The 49ers took Montana in the 3rd round and Clark in the 10th. Walsh made that latter pick against the advice of his scouts, who wondered why the 49ers would squander a pick on a player likely to go undrafted. Walsh put his foot down. "I said, no, that man is going to be here. You watch." Clark went on to have a 9-year NFL career that resulted in 506 pass receptions, a 49ers record till Rice came along, more than 6,700 yards, 48 touchdowns, and his jersey No. 87 being retired by the team. Oh, and the catch, a 6-yard touchdown pass from Joe Montana against the Dallas Cowboys in the 1981 NFC Championship game. In one of the most indelible moments in sports history, Montana rolled to his right, withstood mounting pressure from 3 Cowboys defenders and lofted a pillow-soft spiral toward the back of the end zone. Clark, who had been sliding across the back line, leapt so high for the improbable catch that, years later, Cowboys players would insist that Montana was trying to throw the ball away. The catch propelled the 49ers into the Super Bowl, where they won the first of their 5 Lombardi trophies. "The most dramatic thing," Clark said of the catch, years later, "was when I woke up the next morning and it was the whole front page of the newspaper. I knew that even if we lost the Super Bowl, even if I got cut the next year, they could never take that away from me." The catch grew to become a symbol of the 49ers franchise. It embodied Walsh's genius, Montana's magic, a generation of players who, like Clark, managed to rise, even soar, to the occasion. The funny thing is, they could never get the play right in practice. Walsh had Montana and Clark rehearse the pass known as sprint right option as early as the sweltering days of training camp in Rockland before the 1981 season. The play design called for Montana to throw to his primary receiver, Freddie Solomon, in the flat. But Walsh wanted his quarterback to practice finding his second option, Clark. You know, just in case. Montana and Clark never got the timing right and never really understood why Walsh was so intent on drilling something so far-fetched. When we finally walked off, Dwight and I were both saying, "That gray-haired guy is going senile," Montana joked, years later. "I don't know what he's thinking about, but we would never throw the ball there." But on Jan. 10, 1982, under the darkening skies at Candlestick Park, with the 49ers down 27-21, Walsh called for the sprint right option. Solomon slipped, leaving Montana to scramble for his life as Ed Too Tall, Jones, Larry Bethia and D.D. Lewis closed in. When all seemed lost, Montana let it fly. The only time he got it right, Clark later said, was with everything on the line, time winding down and the defense in his face. That was the magic of Joe Montana. And it was the beauty of Dwight Clark, the only man who could have reached that pass. He was responsible for one of the most iconic plays in NFL history that began our run of Super Bowl championships, but to me, he will always be an extension of my family. DeBartolo said in his statement Monday. "I love him and will miss him terribly." Besides his wife, Kelly, Clark is survived by his daughter Casey and sons Riley and Mac.